So more Wisconsin exit polls on the GOP side. 60% of voters would be excited or optimistic if Ted Cruz became president. This goes to the sentiment and the enthusiasm behind the candidate. 37%, though, say they would be concerned if the candidate were Ted Cruz. Take a look at how that shakes out for Donald Trump. 41% say, yes, I would be excited. I would be optimistic about America in this scenario. 58% say they would be concerned and that they would be scared. A lot of emotions out there. Joining me now, Monica Crowley, online opinion editor for the Washington Times and a Fox News contributor. Welcome, Monica.
Hi, Martha.
You know, up for grabs, really, on your, because I want to get your reaction to both of these things. Hillary Clinton has decided that it's worth pointing out that the guy she's running against is a socialist. He calls himself a socialist Democrat now, and not a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat.
And what's interesting about those comments, Martha, is she actually thinks that that is going to help her by pointing out that distinction. Actually, she's not running in Bill Clinton's Democratic Party. She is running in Barack Obama's Democratic Party. The party of Barack Obama, he has so successfully moved that party back to the radical left, where somebody like Bernie Sanders is wholly comfortable. That's where the energy is. That's where the enthusiasm is with the 74-year-old disheveled socialist. She thinks by pointing that out that that's somehow going to help her. It will not.
Isn't it amazing, Monica, that it's the same on the Republican side, too? It's almost like one of the Republican candidates pointing at someone and saying, you know, I don't even think he's a Republican. And that person, when he's Donald Trump, says, you know, okay,
it's
guilty as charged, right?
It's a badge of honor because this is in a totally anti-establishment year on both sides. And what's interesting is you have the two front runners, Mrs. Clinton and Donald Trump, with negatives in different ways. Yep. Neither one of them has locked down their base. Usually by this time in the primary process, you have front runners who may have not locked up the nomination, but certainly have quelled their bases and can rely on them. In neither case is that true.
Fascinating. All right, we got some new polls from the Monmouth University tracking, not tracking, but a look at the sentiment out there. And take a look. So this is based on the comments that Donald Trump made. You know, people called it the worst couple of weeks in his campaign. So they said, you know, the comments about abortion, also the comments about nuclear weapons. Did it have an impact on your vote? New Yorkers say, not really.
Nope.
57% say that none of those comments have any impact on their vote, that they are still with Donald Trump. About a third, 29%, say it would make them less likely to vote for him. They were not happy with the comments. 7% say it would make them more likely to vote for him.
This is New York, so I'm not sure we can extrapolate to the rest of the country based on what we're seeing among New York Republican voters. Those numbers tell me that, again, the anti-establishment, sort of pro-Trump movement in the country is so solid and so passionate that literally he can make these mistakes or say something that maybe he has to backtrack on. For example, the abortion questions, and it really doesn't hurt him much with his base of support. Again, this is New York. He was always leading in New York. This poll has him, I believe, over 50% going into the primary in about 2 weeks. So we'll see. But again, you know, what's interesting about Trump is that his base of support has stayed relatively the same. He's scoring between, say, 30 and 35%. So now when you see a win like of Ted Cruz yesterday in Wisconsin, what's happening is because the field has narrowed, Trump support is staying about even, but the others are gaining, and in particular Ted Cruz, of course, is gaining. So Donald Trump has to figure out a way to broaden his base of support. It's passionate, but he's got to grow it.
Kasich is in second in the current New York polling, so he would be the one that might be able to erode some of Donald Trump's better than 50% right now, and Ted Cruz is trying to do that here as well as we just saw, but in the current polls he's got over 50%, and if he could do that, he could get all 95 of the delegates in New York State. So we'll see. Monica, thank you.
Always
good
to
see you.